Malik Hooker here on the Blitz. He's Joe. I'm Jason. We're down in San Antonio. Practice today. How was it?
Oh, it was great practice. It was great practice. We've been stacking the days. Both sides been kind of getting the best of each other day in and day out. So, it's been good competition going on out there.
Well, putting the pads on. I mean, you guys haven't put on pads in a while. It's got to feel pretty good.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Obviously, last time we put on pads was I think like January-ish. I want to say some guys longer. So there's a lot of testosterone building up. A lot of guys going on out there. So a lot of guys just obviously happy to just get back out there and compete and doing everything we love.
Malik, Shotty said, compete every day is kind of the theme. You see it on shirts. He said the offense won yesterday.
I don't know. I ain't being biased because I'm on defense, hey, but, he said they won. I guess they won. But I feel like, out there, defense, we've been getting the best of the offense these last couple of days.
Well, Ian and I were a little surprised because we were watching it going, yeah, I mean, they ran the ball well, but, yeah. I mean, how do you not tackle to the ground, right? I thought you guys – I was a little surprised when he said earlier today that the offense won.
No, it's definitely – like I said, it's definitely been competitive the last couple of days. There's been days where, certain periods where we feel like the defense is getting the best of offense. As you see in today, there was a couple periods where we feel like the offense was getting the best of us. But it's been back and forth the last couple of days, which, is good signs of a good football team. So, that's always good signs. Coming down the stretch, you need the offense to – correct on our mistakes, and we need the defense to correct on the offensive mistakes. So it's definitely, good signs for us as a football team for where we're at right now.
Malik, you brought up Shotty. What is the camp or just OTAs, everything been like with him taking over?
Oh, it's been special. It's been special. Like from day one, he started kind of rebrandishing the culture of what the team was going to be about, I guess putting us more together, having us more doing a lot of more camaraderie and stuff like that. So it's been great. You see a lot of guys having fun out there. Not saying we haven't had fun years before, but, you see a lot of guys that you can tell genuinely enjoy doing what they're doing, not only just because it's, playing in the National Football League, but who they're doing it with, and the guys and the coaches too. So it's definitely special. And like I said, I feel like not only me, but the team, we're pleased where we're at. We still got ways to go, of course, but I definitely feel like we're very pleased at, the steps we're taking forward to being a contender in the Super Bowl championship team this year.
When you think about Mike McCarthy's time, they hire from within. Like on the outside, we were wondering what was going to change. Now, we've only been here for a couple of days. We got here Saturday. I can see and feel a little bit of a different energy. How quickly did that change in the building when Shotty changed offices to the head coach one?
I'll say, obviously, I feel like it was day one. From when Coach Shotty got the head coaching job, he was reaching out to a lot of guys on the team. Not only just to let guys know, obviously, he was the head coach, but to genuinely check on, how the families were doing, their mental state and stuff like that. So I feel like once you got that type of coach, I feel like it makes it that much easier for the culture and the team to buy into what they're saying and believing in.
Everybody talks about pro football as a business, but he seems to approach this as a family. I mean, and he talks about that quite a bit. Is that a big change from what you're used to?
Honestly, no. I mean, every team that I've been on, it's kind of been like family oriented, but I guess you would say like he's even deeper into, being a player's coach and, a family's coach. He believes in, we're one big family and truly believes that. And guys, like I said, once you give guys that confidence that you genuinely care about them, not only as the football player, but as the man, that it makes it that much easier for, guys to go out there and play harder for you. So I feel like that's kind of what he installed in guys from day one, just by reaching out and, like I said, not necessarily saying he was the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, but generally checking in on guys' mental state during the offseason and their families. And I feel like, like I said, guys kind of, believed in what he was, preaching and installing in us from then.
Safety Malik Hooker joining us here on the Blitz on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. Eberflus comes in as the defensive coordinator. What's been the biggest change there?
Honestly, for me, nothing. I had Coach Flus. When I was in Indy. And like I was telling the guys before he got here, man, he's a great coach. A great guy, and just a guy that as you've seen, not only just to play for, but to get you where you want to be as a football player and try to get you to succeed the levels you want to be as, whether you want to be a Hall of Fame or a legend, whatever the case is. So, I feel like just the thing that he kind of does different is, he believes in physicality. Obviously, a lot of teams say that, but truly, like, you're not a guy that's physical, it's hard to play for Coach Flus. And, just being, team ball, like being about the team. And I feel like that's kind of changed thing. You know, not saying it was different years before, but like I said, like there's just like a no tolerance thing with Flus, and I feel like that's something we needed.
Malik, you guys obviously a lot of adversity last year. You certainly didn't finish the way you wanted to finish. How does that motivate you guys coming into camp this year?
Oh, definitely, definitely. It motivates us a lot, you know, because we felt like we had the roster from top to bottom last year as well to be able to go out there and compete, and just to fall as short as we did and be sold as short as we was. You know, we feel like we left a lot of plays out there. You know, a lot more was left in the tank than we could have gave, and you know, we feel like this is just not necessarily a year to prove anybody, but to prove ourselves right about what we got going on here. Like I said, from top to bottom again, we got a great roster. We had some great off-season additions to the team, and we feel like, you know, we're a team that can go out there and compete for a Super Bowl, and not only compete, can win a Super Bowl. So that's just something that we're kind of buying into, and we're, like I said, we're talking about every day and forcing each other to not only just say but believe in truly. And you know, like I said, you just got to stack it day by day, and hopefully, you know, we get to that goal at the end of the year.
Malik Hooker joining us here on the Blitz. There's a difference. Coaches talked about it, different players talking about Super Bowl, right? And you read all the national media, and people don't know how to judge this Cowboys team, and I don't know why. Because if it's first-year head coach that's never been a head coach before, that coming off of an injury, but Vegas has the win total at like 8.5, and I'm like 8.5, right? But you got Philadelphia and what Washington did, and you know the Cowboys probably the third best team in the NFC East. But players this year are not afraid to talk about Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. I mean, obviously, you know, those other teams that we got to compete against in our division, you know, they're good teams and great teams as well. But like I said, we know we're a great team too. You know, we've been showing that the last couple of years. You know, like I said, last year was obviously disappointing. We ain't have the outcome that we had, but you know, like you watch a lot of those games where we played those top teams and those top contender teams that been in the playoffs and made it to the Super Bowl. We shown that we're able to, you know, compete with them as well. So I feel like it was just little small plays that we left out there on our mistakes that, you know, made the difference. You know, they capitalized on our mistakes and they ended up beating us some of those games. So I feel like that was the difference. It wasn't like they was way better than us or nothing like that. Because like I said, we're a talented team, you know, from top to bottom. And, you know, with the scheme and the coaching staff that we brought in, I feel like that's going to make the difference. As long as guys stay locked in and do their job down in and down out and, you know, buy into the culture of what we're coaching here. You know, it's no doubt in our minds that we'll be able to go out there and compete and, like I said, win the Super Bowl.
Then, Malik, I got to ask you, you've been in the league for a little while. You've been with Dallas now for a little while.
Yes, sir.
Do you learn and appreciate to hate teams like Philadelphia and the New York Giants and the Washington Commanders?
I mean, for me, honestly, like any team we play, you know, I just have a dislike for because, you know, that's just me. I'm a competitor. Like whether it's Philadelphia or whether, you know, it's the Chiefs or whoever we're playing, you know, that I feel like we got to treat them all the same way. At the end of the day, like who says that Philadelphia is going to be the team we got to get through in the playoffs to get to where we want to be? You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like that's the mindset that we got to have, whether it's the Eagles or, you know, whether it's the Giants or it's the Chiefs or the Raiders, whoever it is. Like we got to install in our mind that they're in the way of our goal. We're trying to get something accomplished, and the only way to get that done is to beat this team. You know what I'm saying? So that's the type of mindset I approach. And I'm sure there's guys on the team that, you know, got the hate Philly mindset and everything, but it's just like for me, like I just have a dislike for whoever we're playing that week. It's nothing personal, but it's just like they're just in the way of what we're trying to get accomplished.
It's just business.
Yeah.
It's just business.
No, I got to ask, because you're from Pennsylvania, right?
Yes, sir.
Who'd you grow up rooting for?
I'm from the closest side of Pittsburgh, so my whole family's Pittsburgh fans. Most of my family, you know, obviously me coming to Dallas, they was a little disappointed. Me coming down here, but, you know, over the years they seem to have to, you know, grown to love it to be here. You know, my mom and them, luckily, you know, they wasn't that into football, so they really didn't care. But you know, once I got to Dallas and they came down there and seen not only just the culture, the team we have, you know, the city of Dallas, and just the stuff that comes with being in Dallas, you know, they love it. They love it. So it's been a great thing. And like I said, I'm honored. I'm happy. I'm happy with my hair. Grateful to be able to still be in the jersey, play for the Cowboys. So it's been a great journey for me.
It's so funny because you think about all the, like as a lifelong Cowboy fan, hated Pittsburgh growing up. In fact, most teams I hate have yellow pants, man. I you know, all right. I mean, there's something in Philly and what, you know, but you, I guess as a player, you just don't have that same kind of sports hate, right?
No, because for me, I honestly I grew up watching football, but I was just always a fan of just players. Like I never had a specific team that I rooted for, or nothing like that. So I was a basketball guy. Like I love watching basketball, and I was something I did more so for basketball. So for me, I never was like, oh, I hated this team or hated this player. Like I was like, man, I like. At the time, I remember I was younger. Reggie Bush was one of my favorite players. I was like, you know what? I'm a Reggie Bush fan.
Yeah, but he wore yellow pants.
He did.
Yeah, so I was like, whatever he does, I just hope he scores touchdowns and gets his yards, and whatever happens with the Saints, it is what it is. But I always just individually cheer for players.
So did you always want to be a defensive back, a safety?
Honestly, I played receiver more so than in high school. Yes, sir. I started out playing receiver, and actually, when I started getting offers from Ohio State and Coach Urban and them said that they wanted me to kind of play DB, then my high school coach started transitioning me to play in DB. Because if you seen my film from high school, my back pedal was terrible back then. I was just out there just being an athlete. But as the years went by, I ended up getting to Ohio State. I think at the time it was Coach Ash who was kind of working with me. The safety in front of me was Von Bell, so he spent a lot of time with me, Tyvis Powell. And they was just putting a lot of time with me day in and day out to kind of mold me into the football player that I am today. And then I think once they left, I ended up getting Coach Greg Schiano, and he spent probably the most time out of all of them with me and kind of just mold me mentally, physically, and emotionally into the football player I am. So that's kind of where it started for me. But in high school, no, I was just an athlete. I was terrible backpedaling. I think I started at corner. I wasn't even at safety. I was a 6-foot corner.
Now, Malik, if you were a receiver, now, great athlete, obviously, but if they recruited you and you couldn't backpedal, how bad were your hands as a receiver?
My hands was great.
Okay.
My hands was great. I was catching everything, but it was just I don't know why my back pedal was so terrible. I was able to run fast and everything, but my back pedal was just disgusting. So I had to spend a lot of time, a lot of nights trying to get my back pedal right to make it to where it is today.
Well, so that's not true then. Defensive backs can catch.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I've always heard you guys couldn't catch. That's why you're playing defense.
No, that's not true. That's not true. Like I said, I started at receiver. There's some guys that can Miles Sanders on our team. He's from back home in the way, and he'll tell you I was pretty solid at receiver. I was pretty solid. I played against a lot of guys like Robert Foster, Jordan Whitehead, who's still in the league. He was a great player that I played against. And he was playing running back and receiver too when we played in high school. And he was real good too. So I got to disagree with that. A lot of DBs
it is kind of amazing though. You think about I'm going to be a receiver. Coach says no, you're going secondary.
Yeah.
If that's what it takes to make it, but then you're what? You're 9?
Yes, sir.
You look at receiver money. Oh,
did you make a mistake?
You ever text Coach Myers say, "Dude, I should have been a receiver"?
Kept me at receiver, and it's crazy because even another example, Trayvon Diggs.
Yeah,
started at receiver and he ended up switching to DB, and you see his ball skills are still through the roof. So,
yeah.
So it's DBs can't catch. I don't know who made that myth out there, but it ain't true.
No, it ain't true. So as a safety, and I always appreciate a good hard hitting safety.
Yes, sir.
Do you like to make the big hit, or would you rather get an interception?
For me, it's always been interceptions. From when I got to college and I caught my first interception, I scored a touchdown. You can make a big hit, but you can't score a touchdown off a big hit. Somebody else can off a forced fumble.
Yeah.
But an interception, it's just you get kind of the best of both worlds for most DBs. You can catch the pick, act like you're a receiver, and then get the score too. So I feel like that's better for me. But I like being able to balance a little bit just to show, I guess, some intimidation, but being able to show that you got ball skills too. So I try to keep it at a balance.
Well, I got to give you credit. You got courage, man, because you're the last guy. If you miss, the guy's gone,
touchdown, man. Touchdown. Yeah, I mean, it's like a pros and cons thing because it's special because coach have that much confidence in you for you be able to get a guy down, whether it be one-on-one or your last line of defense. But it's also a lot of times when you get the guy one-on-one, it's a lot of green grass. It's you only got one chance to either stumble him up to hope somebody else runs and gets him after, or you got to make the tackle. So
I'm going to ask you a very unfair question. Mm-hmm. What you just described, Derrick Henry or Saquon's running at you. What's going through your mind?
Just get them on the ground.
However,
like we always say, like, hey, just make the tackle. However you get them down, just get them on the ground.
Who's the hardest guy to try to tackle in today's game?
For me, so far that I played, I ain't gonna lie, Bijan Robinson,
wow.
and Jahmyr Gibbs, like those guys, man. I know they're young and they're up and coming, but it's like, man, they're special because it's like they're a lot stronger than people think for their size, and obviously you've seen the speed that those guys have. Like it's difficult to be able to tackle guys like that in open space because you obviously don't want to get ran over, but you also know they're running 4.3s and 4.2s and whatnot too. So you don't want to look like you're getting ran past too fast either. So, but there's a lot of guys. Obviously Saquon's one of the guys. Like you just never know what he's going to do too. You seen him hurdle somebody backwards last year. So it's like, man, there's a lot of the running back. I say the running backs in the league right now, man, it's special right now. Like there's a lot of great guys that's running the ball.
I was pretty happy to hear you mention the Texas Longhorn. That's good.
Yeah, Bijan, man, that's my guy. We in the same agency, and like I said, that was my first time. I seen him in college, and you see guys in college. College ball is obviously a little different than NFL, but it's like, man, when I seen his first couple games and then playing him last year, like, man, he's gonna have a hell of a career ahead of him. So it's like I can't wait to see what he gets done in the league.
So you'll be texting him for that college opener when Texas rolls into Ohio State?
Oh, I feel bad for him because what happened last year. The Bucks, man, we coming off in the national championship. I was upset that they lost to the team up north, but it's like, man, you can't never get feel sorry for a national championship. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do this year too.
All right, I got to ask you a question, Malik. We've been trying to figure it out, and we've been told this. Do you know what Jerry Jones's song is out there?
What's the song?
Well, I don't know. Everybody's been telling us he's got a song. Well, Schotty said it yesterday. He said, "You'll know when you hear it." And somebody said they played it today. It's like a Pointer Sisters song or something like that, man.
No, I didn't hear it. Like, I'm going to have to listen to it because I never knew he had a song.
Yeah, apparently he does. And he said, Schotty said it's going to sound completely different than anything else we've been playing all day.
So was they playing it during practice?
Apparently so.
Oh, yeah, I must miss it. We're out there practicing. I'll be locked in. I'm going to have them play it in the locker room.
You're not paying attention to the music?
Nah, I'll be trying to hear the calls and, trying to help some of the young guys make sure they're locked in and they're making the plays that they're supposed to play. And also making sure I'm locked in too and make sure I'm doing my job as well. So I here and there, like you'll hear certain songs that you're like, all right, there's something that I listen to myself, but for the most part, no, you kind of locked in out there.
With the coaching change, our morning show guy said that there was some odd music in the weight room this morning. Who's controlling that?
That's the weight staff, man. That's Coach H. I don't know what they be having going on in there because they have like a certain song that they play for the rookies too. I don't even know what the song is, but it's like you'll hear some slow old school music one day, and then the next song might be some R&B. Then you got some rap. Like you just don't know what you're gonna get in the weight room. But that's the cool thing about it. Like you get a variety of everything you want to hear. Like one day you might not want to listen to all the rah rap music, so you get to hear R&B too. So that's the cool thing about it. They're able to be diverse in there.
Nice. Now, Malik, tomorrow an off day. Mm-hmm. What do you do on an off day?
Recover. Depending on what the DBs want to go eat or some of the other guys, we go eat some good food, recover, and kind of just lay around and get ready for the next day. Watch over some film.
Now, you've been out here enough. Mm-hmm. What restaurants do you like outside of what they have here at the complex?
I ain't gonna lie. I just went to a sushi spot. What is it called? A Naba?
Nobu?
No, it's called like a Naba, I think. Oh. It's like a sushi spot not too far from here. It was pretty solid.
Pretty good?
Yeah, it was pretty solid.
We'll have to try that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's another spot called like Tokyo Yama or something like that. That's like 6 minutes down the road. That's another sushi spot that was pretty good.
So you're a sushi
guy.
I'm getting into it. My wife's starting to get me into it because she was saying I was a little picky with how I eat, so I try to keep an open mind with a lot of stuff that I eat now. So I'm kind of stepping out of my comfort zone, trying a little more sushi. And I always ate ramen, but I don't like mushrooms. So I've been trying to put mushrooms in some of the stuff I eat and things like that. But I'm kind of open right now. Like I'm a food guy. If you follow me on social media, you know that. Like I eat all the time. I feel like I'm supposed to be a lineman, but God bless me. The physique to be able to eat however I want and still be able to be in shape. So, but yeah, I'm a guy that's able to go out and eat just about anything. Now, I'm allergic to shellfish, so I kind of stay away from the seafood thing. But for the most part, like I try anything.
Nice.
It's funny how wives can get you to do that, right?
Man, I'm telling you,
it's crazy.
It's like she up until me and my wife got together, like I was pretty straightforward. Like I was a steakhouse guy. Anytime I go to the steakhouse, I get the same variety of food. Maybe a 10-ounce filet, something like a 16-ounce, strip or something like that. But now she got me going in there. I'm eating I hate onions, but she got me eating stuff with onions in it. And I'm like, who am I now? Like,
women can do that too.
Happens
guys.
to all of us.
Yeah,
Man.
all of us. All of
you
us.
do a lot of crazy things when you love somebody.
That's it. That's
Absolutely. And your life's better for it.
Absolutely. I ain't got to hear, all the bickering, her nagging about me and nothing. I just like, yes, ma'am, and go ahead and do what I'm supposed to do.
Happy
Awesome.
wife, happy life.
Absolutely.
That's what they say.
Cowboy safety Malik Hooker, man. Appreciate you stopping by after practice today.
Yes,
I know it's a busy schedule, man. This was a lot of fun.
Oh, no, man. I appreciate you guys for having me. The schedule ain't that busy. We've been in a lot of meetings, but for the most part, like, we're out here in beautiful weather. We can be in Dallas, Texas, where it's 94 degrees with pads on. So, I just try not to take stuff like this for granted, especially with the environment out here. You come out here, like, the other day, you seen how filled the crowd was, just for practice. It felt like it was a game, So, special environment out here. So, like I said, try not to take it for granted. So, I appreciate you guys for having me.
Hey, good luck this season.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate you guys.
All right. I tell you what, safety Malik Hooker joining us here on our AA Best Bail Bonds Dallas Cowboys training camp coverage live from Oxnard, California.